Hello and welcome. Tina Jesson here. Wanted to pop on today because sometimes the universe kind of taps you on the shoulder and gives you inspiration for the day. And as you know, if you know me, I am very much connected with the universe and listen to things beyond me. So my name's Tina Jesson. I'm a business coach and your fairy business mother. And I wanted to come to you today to share something that occurred to me today because the universe had tapped me twice on the shoulder. So last week I was at a networking event and I was chatting to a lady and she was talking about getting all her ducks in a row. And then this morning I had a connection with someone who was asking the question, what do we do when we have so many questions and how do we get all our ducks in a row? And it occurred to me that we don't need to get all our ducks in a row. We just need to start with one duck. We just need to start with one duck. And what do I mean by that? Well, I'm a massive believer in doing what you can from where you are with what you have. Basically, you just need to take the next step. And once you've taken the next step, the step beyond that will become apparent. So a lot of people looking to start a business, they're looking at how can I raise the funding? How much is it going to cost? How am I going to start? And you just get completely overwhelmed with all these questions that you don't feel like you have the answer to. But what I'm suggesting is that you don't have to know all the steps on your path to becoming a business owner. You just need to take the first step. And that's why working with a business coach can be really helpful, because they can help you see the wood for the trees and help you identify what the right next step for you is. And that's what I'm really inviting you to do, is you don't need to know everything when you start. You just need to do the next thing and the next best thing for you, and really trying to work out what that next step might be for you. And then once you've taken that step, look at the feedback that you get from whatever action you've taken. Because we can learn and we can study and we can take on board new ideas, but it's not what we know that counts, it's what we actually do. It's the action steps we take. And the reason why action is so important is that that is the way we go out into the world and we get feedback. We check in with ourselves and see how we felt about doing that particular activity, but we also get feedback from the people that we interact with, because we can't do business just inside our own heads. We have to go out into the world and test it. And that's why we become warriors of business, because we are being brave enough to step out and do something. And it almost doesn't matter what you do, as long as you do something and get that feedback coming back in, and knowing what that next best step might be. And like I say, working with a coach can really help you filter out what you might have thought of doing but haven't had the confidence perhaps to go out and try. And I think that is something that as business owners we become quite resilient at doing, is going out and trying new things and seeing what works. And you don't have to know all the steps before you start. It's a bit like putting on your GPS in your car. You know where you want to get to. For example, you might know the kind of business you want to set up, or at least the type of people you want to work with, or the things that you want to do, but you perhaps don't know all the steps in how to get there yet. But taking that first step, which is taking the car analogy, getting in the car, turning on the engine, plugging in where you want to go, is the first thing that you can do. And then putting it into drive, putting it into gear, and actually starting and actually doing something. And like I say, getting the feedback back from the environment, from people, from the world in general. And starting to ask yourself better questions, or guiding you to ask yourself better questions, because the better questions we can ask, the better things that we can go out and do. So rather than saying, well, I don't know how to do that, or I can't do that, stating the question, how can I do that? And going back to that, what can I do with what I have from where I am? What would be something quite easy for me to do? What would be something that I could do that isn't going to risk too much? Something that I still feel comfortable doing, and going out there and testing that out and doing it, and just basically not having all your ducks in a row, but starting with just one duck. That's all it needs, just one duck, and then taking the feedback of doing that action, whatever that might be, and then taking the next step and the next step and the next step. It starts to become clearer the more you do, but action is really, really key. And the limit of a business is the limit of the owner. So you as an owner, how your limiting thoughts is the limit of your business. If you can grow beyond that, and maybe with a little bit of coaching, go through that comfort zone, because we all like to stay safe in our comfort zone, but all growth and everything that you need, everything that you want out of life is beyond your comfort zone. And sometimes it's nice to have your hand held to say, come on, I've seen this happen before, I've done it before, come with me and I'll show you some of the steps. And that's really where coaching can be really helpful. So the limit of the business is the limit of the owner. Grow in that learning, grow in the skills that you can only really get, not by just reading a book. Somebody said to me once, you can't ride a bike by reading a book about riding a bike. You have to actually get on the bike and give it a go. So increase your learning, increase your skills through the experience that you get, and the only way you can do that is by doing. You don't need all your ducks in a row, you just need one duck. I'll speak to you soon. Bye now.